Hi there. Welcome to Get Productive with Microsoft Azure Deployment Templates. This is episode 3, Configure Your Development Environment, and my name is Tim Warner. I have two goals for this session. Number one, I'm going to recommend an ARM template development environment for you, giving you step-by-step instructions. I also want to target this to not only Windows users, but also macOS and Linux users as well. All the tools I'll be showing are fully cross-platform. You can get to the interactive table of contents for this series by going to timw.info/ARM. Let's get started. Our tools checklist, just to put everything in one spot, I'm going to do the rest of this in a demo, is we have Git, which is a distributed source code management tool. We're going to install the Git tools because eventually I'm going to teach you how you can store your ARM templates in a Git repository. Even if you're not a developer, I submit it's important for you to understand how source code management works. And we're going to use Git. We'll also use PowerShell 7. I'm going to teach you how to deploy templates by the end of this series using a number of different platforms, but we'll rely heavily on PowerShell 7, which is fully cross-platform, macOS, Linux, and Windows. Visual Studio Code is Microsoft's free open source code editor. Then we have some required extensions, all free, PowerShell, the Azure Resource Manager tools that we saw a little bit in the previous lesson, Azure Account and Azure CLI tools. And last but not least, we'll install the Azure Command Line Interface, or CLI. CLI is a scripting language that used to be the only game in town if you were not a Windows user, but now that we have PowerShell 7 and the Azure PowerShell modules run on all operating systems, there's less of a isolation factor. So now it's really going to be you and your team's preference whether you want to use PowerShell 7, Azure CLI, or both, or maybe neither. In this demonstration, I'm going to take you step by step in configuring your environment to work on ARM templates. Now, I'm using a Windows system, but everything I'm going to show you applies to both macOS and Linux systems as well, if that's your preferred client workstation. First, let me pop open the Edge browser and let me show you the appropriate URLs. You can easily get to these web pages by performing a simple Google search. If you're on Mac or Linux, you already have the Git client installed, but on Windows, you'll need to install it. You can go to git-scm.com and download the latest release. I've done that already. For PowerShell 7, remember PowerShell is open source, so the best place to go is the PowerShell/PowerShell repo at github.com. Specifically, once there, you'll scroll down a little bit under releases, and I would suggest you go with not a pre-release version, but the latest supported version. Let me go back a page. And let me click the 7.10 release. There it is. Yeah, the latest stable supported release. And you'll find if you scroll down a little bit, there'll be download links for each of your operating systems. Microsoft supports several distributions of Linux. Then there's macOS, inscrutably called OS X still, even though the operating system hasn't used that moniker in a long time. And then we have Windows. On Windows 10, Windows Server, I would go for the Win X64 MSI. I've downloaded that. For Visual Studio Code, it's code.visualstudio.com. The application will detect your operating system, but if you click this Other Platforms link under the big button, there's where you can get direct downloads to your different versions per OS, per processor architecture, and in Windows, whether you want an edition that can be installed with user credentials, that would just be for the currently logged on user, or system installer for everybody. Administrative privileges are required. I downloaded the 64-bit system installer. And lastly, if you do a Google search for Install the Azure CLI, you'll find this nice helpful article at Microsoft Docs where they have full instructions on your operating system. What I did is I just went to Install on Windows, and then there's a nice big old button here that allows me to download the current release of the Azure CLI. So if I bring up my downloads, I have none of this installed now. I'm just going to buzz through it quickly with you. Let's install the Git tools on my Windows system. We'll be covering Git separately in this course, so I'm just going to largely accept the defaults. I do make a couple changes just based on what I like. Personally, I like the true type font support, and I will allow daily update checks. Let's click Next. I'll accept the default setup location. I've had problems where I selected Visual Studio Code here, and then it will automatically install VS Code, and it may not be what I actually wanted, which build. So I normally let it just choose whatever it wants as the default editor, and I can override later. This is where we have the controversy of the master branch being renamed to main instead, which is a good idea in my humble opinion. I'm just going to accept that. I'm going to install the Git tools and everything into the Windows command prompt so it's convenient. I'll use the Windows Secure Channel Library for certificates. I'll make sure to leave the default here to check out Windows style and commit Unix style. That ensures more cross-platform compatibility. And I'm going to make sure to install the tools not on a separate terminal, but I want to use the Windows terminal for my tools here. All right, accept. Yes. And that's all there is to it. So once you've got Git laid down, you'll find that Visual Studio Code will pick up Git automatically. So there's not anything special or magical or pseudo-magical you have to do with Visual Studio Code. Actually, let me close this wizard. I'm going to install PowerShell Core first. So let me run my PowerShell 7.1 Win x64 installer. I'm going to accept the default location. I'll just leave all of these settings at their default. No big deal. Click next, finish kind of deal. Now I'm on Windows, so I have Windows PowerShell version 5.1 installed, but that's not a problem. You can install PowerShell 7 alongside an existing Windows PowerShell installation. They use different .NET editions, so there's not a concern about them overlapping. However, I would suggest that you pick one PowerShell runtime and stick with it. You're not going to have much luck if you try to install the Azure PowerShell modules on both PowerShell 5.1 and PowerShell 7. You're going to want to pick one, and I'm picking PowerShell 7. Let's run our Visual Studio Code installer. And as I said, this is going to auto-detect Git as our source code management platform, and it will also detect PowerShell runtime environment. So let me accept the end-user license agreement, accept the destination location, start menu folder. I like these options here, the Explorer options to right-click and open with code, and I definitely recommend you add the VS Code executable to your search path so you can start code from wherever you are on a command prompt or PowerShell prompt. So let's install the binaries here, and we're almost finished. I will leave Launch Visual Studio Code checked so we can start up the application, and I'll maximize the program window. If you don't want to see this welcome page anymore, you can deselect it, and you can bring it back if you want to in the future, but I don't want to see it. What we do want to do is get Visual Studio Code up and running with relevant extensions. So let's open the extensions gallery. And these are all Microsoft extensions, so you're trusting Microsoft, not an individual contributor. So let's install the PowerShell extension. This is going to light up language support and debugging support for PowerShell. And it also, just for grins, gives us a really nice light color theme for the bargain, and I'm going to choose that once it finishes installing. We can do that easily by selecting Set Color Theme here, and I'm going to choose PowerShell ISE. If you're an older dog like I am, you remember the PowerShell integrated scripting environment. Yes, that's much better. All right, what else do we need? We need the Azure Resource Manager tools, or ARM tools. This gives us language support for JSON and template syntax. Also gives us a whole bunch of snippets that will make our template development a lot easier. If you're going to work with Azure CLI, you'll want the Azure CLI Tools extension, and I know we haven't yet installed the CLI. We'll do that in just a minute, but this lights up language support for Azure CLI. And then lastly, it's optional, but I suggest you install the Azure Account extension because this makes it easier to sign into your subscription in VS Code and cache that subscription so you don't have to manually log in every time you use the environment. Now let me open up a new terminal here, because although we have PowerShell installed and although we have some Azure related extensions installed, we don't have the Azure PowerShell modules installed. So I'm going to do install module name AZ. And that's going to contact the PowerShell gallery and pull down all of the latest and greatest Azure PowerShell modules. It's going to take a little while to do that. And the text is small. There's a whole bunch of stuff with Visual Studio preferences. At the end of this lesson, in the For Further Learning, I'll give you a link to a really nice Microsoft tutorial where they give you some heads up on setting your preferences and all of that stuff. But once this finishes, I'll also want to run update help. so I can update the local help files on all of those Azure PowerShell modules. Last thing is let's run the Azure CLI installer. We're not going to need this for a few lessons, but I want to make sure that we have it available to us alongside with PowerShell, just as a convenience factor as we're doing our Azure template development work. While the CLI installation is cooking, let me come back to VS Code. I hope I didn't make a mistake here. I forgot to mention this earlier, especially on Windows systems. This isn't a big deal on macOS or Linux because all you'll have is PowerShell 7 or PowerShell 6. But notice in the lower right corner, VS Code gives us our language mode that we're in, and it is saying 7.1, and if I open the PowerShell menu, it tells you what runtime you're using, and I want to make sure that we are in fact using PowerShell 7, which is the core edition, as opposed to Windows PowerShell 5.1. That's the desktop edition. No, we don't want that. Nope. For further learning, as usual, let's start with a really excellent free interactive tutorial called Learn Git Branching, timw.info/temp3a. Again, I know we didn't cover Git as such, we just installed the tools, but I want you to get on board with Git source code management sooner rather than later. Next, Microsoft has a nice Getting Started article for Visual Studio Code, timw.info/temp3b. And you can learn more about Visual Studio Code snippets. Again, we did a little bit of work with snippets in the previous lesson, and we'll do lots more upcoming. timw.info/temp3c. Excellent. Well, that's it for this lesson. Thanks very much. Our next episode is called Review Basic ARM Template Syntax. In the meantime, course TOC is timw.info/ARM. My Twitter handle is TechTrainerTim. My Pluralsight courses are at timw.info/PS, and my personal website is techtrainertim.com. I'll see you in the next lesson.